to be some sort of accountability. What is the solution?
He has broken more than just Twitter. According to the Wall Street Journal yesterday, reporting the world's richest man had an affair.
Elon Musk is blasting a bombshell claim that he had an affair with the wife of one of his closest friends.
Elon Musk denying having an affair with the wife of Google's co-founder.
Another day, another headline about Elon Musk, but this one in particular piqued my interest, and it's not because of the drama of this title. Elon Musk's friendship with Sergey Brin ruptured by alleged affair. But it was more because of his response. In this tweet, Elon writes, "The media is a click-seeking machine dressed up as a truth-seeking machine." And this tweet hit very close to home. Many of you know I just left my job in TV news as a TV news reporter for the past 8 years, in part due to some of the issues that we're seeing right before us and that Elon is pointing out in this tweet. So many people that I talk to have just straight up lost trust in the media, and I think this is a good example why. Now, this is an exclusive story from the Wall Street Journal, and my first question kind of was, why is WSJ even reporting on this tabloid-like headline type of article in the first place? The Wall Street Journal is listed as an American business-focused international daily newspaper. So why this is an exclusive story that they would run with, I don't know, but obviously it got a lot of attention and a lot of clicks. So the Wall Street Journal came out claiming that Elon Musk had an affair with the then wife of Google's co-founder. A Wall Street Journal spokesperson told dailymail.com they were confident in their sourcing and they stand by their reporting. So after the article came out saying that Elon had an affair with Nicole Shanahan, the estranged wife of Google's co-founder Sergey Brin, Elon came out on Twitter saying this is a fake hit piece. Now, this article is saying that the alleged affair served as a catalyst for Shanahan and Brin's divorce. Again, why is this on Wall Street Journal? Now, just a few hours after this article was published, Elon posted a photo of him and Sergey at a party. Apparently, he says it was the night before, and this is in his own defense. He even captioned the photo basically saying, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." Elon has also tweeted recently that he's been trying to avoid the supernova level of attention that's been on him. We've seen headlines like every single day about the guy. He even has paparazzi following him around while he's in Greece. It's really becoming this like tacky tabloid celebrity status that I'm sure he doesn't want. Now, did Wall Street Journal issue a retraction? No. They doubled down. Wall Street Journal on Friday reiterated it is standing by its story, with a spokesman for the newspaper telling dailymail.com, "We are confident in our sourcing and we stand by our reporting." Now, a lot of people on Twitter are retweeting all of this. They don't believe that this happened. They think that Elon's photo is good proof that it didn't happen. Sergey himself hasn't said anything publicly, but it really is just this crazy roller coaster of a ride. Once again, my first point is, why is Wall Street Journal even publishing this in the first place? And some people are asking, well, hey, why hasn't Elon announced a lawsuit against Wall Street Journal? He made a tweet about this. He said, as a public person, standard to win a defamation lawsuit against a news org is almost impossible. They could say I'm Satan and the source is their psychic. Nicole is not a public person, so could win. I hope she sues them. He also goes on to say that Wall Street Journal has done so many fake hit pieces on him over the years. Now, the same day that Elon tweeted this about the media disguising themselves and just really being a clickbait machine, I had an hour-long live stream with Farzad Mesbahi. He's a former Tesla employee and a freethinker, and we really tried to talk about this state of journalism, where we're at, and obviously what we can do to change this, because I do believe it's becoming a problem.
The whole point of having these truth tellers, like the way I always thought about journalists and people that worked in news media outlets such as yourself and anybody else, like these people are meant to be truth tellers so that they can research what's going on in the world, right? So let's think about, like, what is the core principle of a journalist or a core principle of a news place?
Yes.
It's for them to go out there, find the truth of what's happening, and then bring it out to the people so that they can understand what is happening in their communities. And from a little bit of research that I did, this obviously started super small. So you had this with, journalists or news people or people that found out what was going on in their very small local communities. And they went out and, before the printing press or whatever, they went to the town square. This is what's happening. Here's what's happening, guys. This is what I found. Here's the truth that I'm trying to pass on to you all. And here's what's going on. So that's what I thought. But I think there was a comment that was left even before the live stream started by somebody that said that how much of this is really Wall Street Journal and all these new things becoming more like tabloid, sort of misinformation, skewing the truth, or how much of this is really the internet and the age that we live in now are really starting to expose or give tool sets to those that were spreading misinformation and lies before, but now it's much easier to actually prove as false because we have the tools like the Elon coming out and saying this is wrong, and the internet and Twitter and God knows what other tools we have that are saying, hey, like this is happening. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Like, is this something that we've always had that's sort of coming to light now because of the tools, or is this it's a new trend of the age that we live in? What do you think?
I think that what's happening now is it's like, spreading information and on steroids, because, things spread so quickly online with social media. I mean, think about how it used to be with just TV news. You would wait until the 5 o'clock broadcast to figure out what happened that day. And now, like, TV news can't keep up with online, which is why they're prioritizing online so much and just going live, Facebook Live from the scene before they even put anything on TV. And so I think that, we're not really equipped to handle how quickly things are moving online. And because of how quick it is, it can be hard to sort of like rein in or filter that misinformation initially. It's a really tough topic for sure. But I think you make a good point, like with the sort of checks and balances of, on the same token, Elon can post a picture and say, yo, this is false, this is fake news. But it's a problem.
So do you think it's like a newer phenomena then? You don't think this was nearly as rampant before? Like if you were even thinking like 8-10 years ago, like what was perceived as potentially false versus what's perceived as potentially false now, like, or is that too tough of a question to ask? Like, do we even have the data?
No, I would say it's worse now because everyone's online now, and like look at just the footprint of social media now compared to what it was 10 years ago. I mean, like it's massive. It's massive. So I think it's probably worse and harder to control. And yeah, I've been trying to think, ever since we decided we would talk about this, like, what is the solution? Is it giving the Wall Street Journal, reviews or like a Trustpilot rating, right? And like, figuring out like, is this a verified source? Is this credible? And I think it's sad to see, the mainstream media is getting it huge right now, right? You would think they're credible and they're trustworthy. And I think people on both sides, the right and the left, are starting to lose faith or maybe not be as trusting of just accepting this information from this news outlet because, well, they must be professional and fact checking, and that's just not always the case. I'm a show and tell journalist. This and everyone's going to remember this, but let me play it for you really quickly.
Do you want to send it to me so I can screen share it? Can you DM it or something?
Yes, this is such a throwback, but this was an insane moment for TV news, and it made us look really bad. And I had actually just started my job like a month after this whole thing happened, and so it was even more reason why my friends and family were like not stoked that I was going there.
Okay.
A lot of attention around Sinclair Broadcasting and its conservative bent. This is a company that owns stations all across the country. And last month I reported that the company was mandating its local stations to produce these media bashing promos. There's been a lot of angst in local newsrooms about this. Now we're actually seeing the promos. So I want to show you what they look like. This is a compilation courtesy of Deadspin that's gone viral this weekend. Just a little taste of what these promos look like.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I think you get the idea there, what's going on. All these anchors and all these markets are required to read this script. It's attacking fake news, but really what it's doing, it's kind of like the Fox Fair and Balanced slogan. It's a way of saying, we're fair, everybody else is biased.
All right, I think we get the idea there. So the wow. Okay, I remember seeing that. Okay, so help me understand, because when I saw that video, I was like, how the hell? Okay. Like my brain goes to somebody's trying to deliver a message. Like somebody's obviously behind this. So what happened exactly here? Like how did all these local news networks end up with the same exact messaging? Help me understand.
From the top down, it was like a mandated, hey everyone, and the intent was good. The intent was like, we want to be fair and balanced, but they made everyone say the exact same thing.
The Pew Research Center has done a lot on this topic of mistrust of the media. Of course, news media has been through major changes with social media being added to the mix. The way people get news today has changed from even a decade ago. The business model has also shifted. So many news organizations are now changing their revenue streams, focusing on more digital ad revenue. Political identity is also contributing to the changes. Republicans and Democrats are placing their loyalty and their trust in very different sources. And misinformation is at an all-time high. More than 8 in 10 Americans get their news from digital sources. And last month, the Pew Research Center dropped a report with some eye-opening information. I can say that I feel like I've seen this coming for a long time, having worked in the industry as recently as just about over 2 months ago. I saw changes through my 8 years in news with more of a focus on social media and social media engagement and prioritizing the digital platform. And so this new report from the Pew Research Center says that journalists feel this turmoil and feel this change and this conflict within the industry. So apparently 77% would choose their career all over again, though 57% are highly concerned about the future restrictions on press freedom. Now, as I was debating leaving the news industry, and then when I finally left the news industry, I was shocked to see the mass exodus of people that I never thought would leave the news business. Maybe they were in their dream cities, their dream job, they'd made it to whatever role they wanted to be in, and they were still choosing to get out of the biz, which to me speaks volumes. This survey has nearly 12,000 working US-based journalists. More than half of those surveyed, 57%, say they're extremely or very concerned about the prospect of press restrictions being imposed in the United States. And about 7 in 10 journalists say made-up news and information is a very big problem for our country, higher than 50% of US adults who say the same. And 4 in 10 of those journalists even admit that news organizations are generally doing a bad job managing or correcting misinformation. So that tweet from Elon was just so interesting to me because as I've had more space from leaving the TV news industry and going full-time on YouTube, I've really had time to think about more of the reasons why I left at a deeper level. And I do see a problem. People have asked me, do you miss your job already? And I'm like, no, I don't. And another thing I think we're seeing is more, independent journalism or this age of citizen journalists. So I think that you're going to see more journalists possibly do what I'm doing and start their own YouTube about whatever they want to talk about. So I definitely believe that less people are watching news. A lot of people don't trust news right now, and some of that mistrust is definitely warranted. So I want to know where you guys are at with the state of journalism. Do you see this as a big problem? Is this something that has been bothering you? Are you still consuming news by, turning on the TV and watching television? Are you mostly getting your news online? I know that that is true for me. So I'm really curious. This is just kind of a general discussion. I don't have all the answers, but I thought that it was worth making a video about because it just seems like it's getting out of hand, and it's something that we all need to be aware of and try to find a solution together.